Well, thank you for inviting me. I think it's very fun. At first, I got a bit surprised of it, and I'm naturally very shy. So even just being part of the competition really required a lot of effort from my side. And after I got your invitation, it was, okay, then have a chance finally and have to
Cool.
jump into it.
Yes, and actually, I am also usually very shy and an introvert, but I mean, it is so cool to talk to people from all over the world. And my mission was actually to interview everyone who did not pass the first round in the Whispo Lab competition.
How many people have you interviewed so far?
I think 8 people so far. It's a long way to 85, I know, but but I was having really a lot of fun, and so I am really lucky that we can talk to each other now because yeah, it took us quite a while, but I think that good things take time, right?
Absolutely, and I think it's more about the journey as well. So that's also fun.
So my goal is to have fun and to improve my English because actually I started out my podcast to speak in English and to improve. So yeah, I mean, your goal is so fantastic, right? Because you said in your recording that your goal was to become bilingual. And that was the reason why you left even your country to become bilingual. This is so inspirational to me. This is so cool because in my case, I am not so brave like you. I am still in Switzerland and learning from here.
You know what? Actually, I'm not so sure if that was my actual goal because I was having quite a good time or quite a good position in Argentina, a nice job. I was having a great life, and I think I had to look for a good goal just to decide, okay, I want to explore the world. And in a business environment, just saying, guys, I want to go and see what's happening around didn't sound as, so much business appealing. So I had to say, well, I want to really become bilingual. I want to really improve my English level. And that sounded nice until one person came to me and said, Luciana, if you want to really, just go and give it a go, just say it. But yeah, deeply, actually, my dream was to someday just feel that my brain could be working easily in Spanish and English without any effort.
Yeah. And your recording was really brilliant and inspiring because you told us that you traveled through many, many countries. And maybe before we jump on that, maybe you could explain what made you that you recorded this message because it was a competition called Whispo Lab on Luke's English podcast. Could you explain what it was or what it is?
Yes. So actually, this competition is part of, or was part of a podcast, which is meant to help people who want to improve their English level. And the competition was about selecting a few people who wanted to be part of the podcast and to be interviewed by Luke, who is the host of the podcast. And Luke is a brilliant person. I think that he's a very open person with a brilliant and beautiful British accent. And I think that we all want to have that accent someday. I don't know. But other than that, I think he's just a nice person. He normally drives very nice interviews, and just, thinking of the possibility of being there with him, it was just a nice idea. And also, I think I wanted to share probably something that could have been special to share, which is my story on how I ended up in Australia, how I travel around, how I ended up finding, my current partner in all this journey. And I don't know, I think that was maybe something nice for people to know. But I have to say, another reason why I did it was because I'm normally very shy, and my work really demands me to be a bit more extrovert, a leader without any fear of talking in front of people. So I had to challenge myself and, seize every opportunity.
I see. And how many times did you record your audio message for the
I don't
competition?
know. I think there was a time where I was I think I got the entire message. I knew it by heart because I said it so many times. I felt so stupid doing it. Oh my God, you are drinking mate.
Of course.
That's very cute. But yeah, I don't remember. And I remember I got to a point where I did it for the last time and I said, well, might not be the best version. Let's go with it but yeah, I used to be a very perfectionist. So it was never good enough.
So actually, Luke liked it a lot, I think. And I want to show you the message that he has published. So let's take a look.
Thank you, Luciana. And again, lots of strong recordings have been sent to me, very strong. Managing people at work in another language must be difficult. We would like to know about that. Okay. Anyway, Luciana, that was from Argentina, living in Denmark.
Did you hear it?
Yes, actually, I've heard it. And after, just these words from his side, it was like, okay, it was worth it. At least it was interesting. And I don't know, because it's true, after he released the first the episode where he was finally announcing the winners, and they were sorted alphabetically, and there was a point where my name was not in there, and I said, oh, okay, I was out.
What a pity. But yeah, I mean, I understand, Luke, because there were more than 100 participants, so you just can't keep up with that. And yeah, but now we have the opportunity to hear your story. So let's dive into it. So how did your parents and your friends react when you decided to leave Argentina?
Well, actually, I think they were a bit in shock. I remember I told my mom and she didn't believe it. So she said, okay, just go, And I think she only got to understand after, or maybe when there was only 1 month left for me to go. And then she was just breaking down into pieces and saying, oh no, you're leaving. Yeah, from people from work. I also remember when I announced it to my previous manager, he was looking at me and saying, oh, you're crazy. No, you cannot do this. You also have so many opportunities here. You really can grow so much. You shouldn't go. So that was his first reaction even. And then from my friends, actually, they said, yes, go for it. And finally, I think everyone supported me so much. Also, Australia, it's just such exotic country. And in general, for people, it's just a nice place to be in. Yeah, any comments coming from Australia is just about people having a good time, surfing, and having a good weather and landscapes and nice animals. And so everything is good from there. So he said, yeah, well done, go for it.
But no mate, and no empanadas, and no alfajores.
Yeah, well, actually, those were my precious that I had to keep very carefully, maybe dosifying them carefully. Okay, these only one mate, or maybe only once a day or once a week. Yeah. Until you get your dealer, there's always, these sorts of dealers in the world.
Yeah.
So even here in Denmark now, I know who can make very good empanadas and mate and dulce de leche.
So cool. And this was 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
It's going to be 4 years now. Yes, it's going to be 4 years.
You went to university in Australia, right? Or no, was it for work?
So to Australia, I went without any plan. So that was the plan. For first time in my life, I just went there to see, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. And in there, actually, I got to meet my current boyfriend, which we just had such a crush. And I spent the first month of my stay in Australia very close, very much, in love, let's say. But I'm saying only 1 month because he had to leave Australia just right after his visa was coming to an end. So I said, well, okay, it was nice to meet you, but then I'll stay in Australia just, getting to know what is this all about. And then I got the job, and, everything just happened so quickly. And afterwards, after staying in Australia for 10 months, I agreed with my, what it used to be my new friend. We agreed on going to India and meeting there and do a yoga training together.
Wow.
It was just a crazy idea, we started talking about it like, what if we go there and we do this together? Mm-hmm. Who knows, right? And he was in Argentina back then. I was in Australia, in Sydney. And then one day we said, okay, but do we get the tickets? Are you up really to it? And we decided to do it. So we met in Nepal, in Kathmandu. We went for trekking for a month. Then we went to India to do this training together. We spent a month there and then another month traveling together. And you can imagine we were just getting to know each other while traveling and doing all this stuff. And then we spent another month in Sri Lanka, teaching yoga in English and working in hostels and having this very exotic experience. And then after that, we were running out of money. And then we said, okay, well, maybe we have to go back to the Western side of the world. And we went to Europe. And then, we spent a couple of months in France, in Spain. And then he got admitted in a university here in Copenhagen, which is a very good one. And we decided to give it a go here in Denmark. And we said, maybe we can just try it for 1 year because actually the culture and everything is so different from what we are used to. And here we are 3 years after.
Amazing.
Still together.
So you gave yoga courses in English. So I imagine that at that point your English was already fluent.
It was
like bilingual.
No,
or not?
Even I wouldn't consider myself today a bilingual person. But back in that moment, first of all, I was very nervous of doing the course because I'm very demanding and I'm self-demanding and I'm a perfectionist. For me, good is never enough. And that can be very, very frustrating. So when teaching also at the beginning, I was very, frustrated because everything was just always having a flaw or I wasn't good enough. And then I just learned that I had to go with the flow and, just feel it. Because also when teaching, that's more about, it's not about the grammar. It's not about if you are using the exact, proper words, more about what you're feeling and if you are able to convey it to people that are learning that. Yeah. So yeah. And even, my final project or, my assessment work was a meditation class. So I remember I just closed my eyes and gave a guided meditation. And I felt just that my voice was really sweet, which is not something I consider for myself, and especially in English, but just came from my heart. So I think in the end, that's what really counts.
Basically, it helped you a lot becoming more conscious or to not care that much about perfectionism because especially in language learning, perfectionism can destroy you in a way because there are so much stuff out there and in my opinion, also the most important thing is communication. And if we can understand each other, that is good. It's enough for me.
Exactly. And if you can get that connection, if you can get to create this glue, between people or across people, I think that's what really matters. It doesn't really matter if you have an accent or if you are, having some mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in Denmark, what kind of job did you take on?
Well, that's
Yoga? No,
I
yoga,
had it.
you left.
I had it in mind, but I didn't know really what to do. I'm an industrial engineer, so in that moment in time, I was even considering, okay, maybe I wasn't born to be an engineer, and probably maybe I can give it a go with the yoga. But after the day after I arrived in Copenhagen, and I said, well, maybe I can just update my CV on LinkedIn. I got a message from a company saying, hey, Luciana, we checked that you are in Copenhagen looking for opportunities here. We would like to consider your CV for this position. And it was a position which, related to my engineering profession. So I said, oh my God, okay. Of course, I would say yes. I was kind of broke and I needed a job. I needed money. And I went to the interview. I got the job. And here I am still in the same company as well after growing so much. But, everything just happened as part of a roller coaster. But the funny thing is that I got into the process of the recruitment process for that position from day one in Denmark, but it took quite a long time to get it. In the meantime, I had to get a job, and I worked for the hop on hop off buses that are in the cities.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I used to sell tickets in those buses for a month, so it was a nice experience as well. Just having fun with many other people from everywhere, basically. But I had to quit after 1 month when I got the other job.
Yeah, I see. But was it difficult for you? Because you told me before that you're kind of a shy person. And I mean, selling tickets, maybe if you have to promote it and get the people to sell or to buy, was it difficult? How was it?
I think I consider myself a bit of an introvert person, especially if considering I'm from Argentina. I don't think that it does come natural for me to be open or extrovert or, outgoing. But I do put some effort on that. And some people might not even notice that I can, struggle to make it happen. Some people just think, okay, this girl is just enjoying having some fun with people and talking and being a center of attention. Actually, I got the job, and actually people thought I was very extrovert and I really could manage talking to anyone. I had so much fun. But again, it was just me placing myself in outside my comfort zone. I think nothing is really, I wouldn't say nothing is really easy for anyone, but I just gave it a go. Again, I was in a moment where everything was just, okay, let's go with the flow.
So cool. I like that. And in all these years, were you learning consciously English? I mean, what were your methods?
If I have to tell you, after 4 years of living and working abroad, I have to say I love English. I love learning languages. Now I'm currently learning French as well. And every single day I find an opportunity to keep learning. For example, if I feel that someone said something or had an expression that I wasn't really used to, or, maybe I got it because of the context, but I would never have used it. I just look it up. I even checked on the websites how that expression can be used. And, I try not to get into this lazy position where, okay, I feel I'm okay level and what's the point of keep learning? To me, that never happened because I always wanted to go for more. And it's a never-ending story, I think. If you want to really keep learning, it's always, there's always something you don't know.
Yeah, it's the same here. I am always learning something and it's so beautiful. I also want to improve my French, and my Spanish is rusty, so I need to improve that as well.
The next time we are going to do it in Spanish, okay?
Yes, that would be amazing. And I think that you had to manage people, right? Or maybe you're still managing people. So was it difficult to manage people in a foreign language?
Well, I'm going to tell you again the full story. When I went to the interview for the job position, initially they offered me a job that was, an analyst job, and I was fine with it, not really managing people. And then after having the interview, my former manager said, I think you're up for more. You can actually handle people. I see your passion. I see your determination. And I said, well, yeah, why not? And then I was terrified. I was terrified because I told you that after doing the yoga course, I gained confidence. But when I had to go back to business, I lost it completely. Mm-hmm. And I felt, okay, how I'm going to manage if my team, for example, can express themselves better than me being their manager. I had that idea, which is very silly, but I had one-to-ones with them. And I always found myself not finding the words to express things and getting very frustrated and having the pressure of, and you're on top of that, you are the manager. How is that the manager doesn't know how to express herself? So at the start, it was a lot of pressure that I just put on myself, on my shoulders, unnecessary, and too much focused on my English has to be perfect. But finally, I got to know it was more about, understanding that it's not about language. It was more about cultures, because in my team, I had 5 different nationalities from, Western, Eastern Europe, or even outside Europe. And maybe it was more about understanding, for example, that sometimes words were not to be taken literally. And I had to be very open on what I was hearing, because for all of us at the office, English is not our mother tongue. So maybe we want to say something, but we ended up saying something else. Or actually, my main problem was that people thought I was too aggressive on my expression, because I think that also in Argentina, cutting someone off, it's very common. Someone's going to say something and I'm going to cut you up because you want to finish the other person's line. And here one person of my team told me, do you have something personal against me? Because I can see that you're always, cutting me off. Yeah. So these type of things are actually were the very important ones, and not really, the fact that I had an accent or I was not finding very fancy words to use.
So it was like a difference between the cultures, because everything is completely different. People communicate in a different way. So were there many other differences? I mean, if you compare maybe Argentina with Denmark.
Yeah, actually there are many differences, and especially when it comes to work. In Argentina, you could easily be a good friend of a colleague. The privacy at work doesn't really exist, because you can, you have work and then you can hang out with your colleagues and maybe spend the weekend with someone or just go out with someone. In Denmark, usually you don't mingle that much. Mm-hmm. It's work, stays in work. And then everyone else has their own life and you don't know much. People don't tend to talk much about what's happening in their lives. And at the start, for me, was something that I was missing, because for me, that was also part of the fun at work. And something else is, for Argentinians, you are defined by the type of job you have, or we have so much passion, or we put so much passion on everything we do that we take it to the extreme, We work long hours, we are perseverant. And here, people just, okay, I work for having a life, but I don't live for working. And I also had to respect the boundaries of people and having that mindset of work-life balance, which in the past for me in Argentina, that was like, what? What is that? So as a manager, I had to be very conscious and very careful of getting all these points of the Danish society into account. Because easily, you could be I could have ended up in a problem because people would say, I'm sorry, but this is not Argentina, this is Denmark.
I see, I see. And what about in the free time? I mean, people, are they very open in Denmark compared to Argentinians?
I would say no. I think Argentinians are naturally very friendly. They would always be very hospitable in general. On average, I think that Argentinians are defined as very friendly people.
Yeah.
It's very easy to talk to an Argentinian. And here in Denmark, maybe it would be easier if you have a beer at the table, let's say. If I was in shock on going to a Christmas party or a party from the office and seeing how different people were while having maybe a couple of beers or relaxing a little bit, and then they were just the most outgoing people I've never seen. And I think that's quite an interesting fact from here. People are very reserved and private until maybe having a couple of drinks, and then maybe they can lose it up.
Yeah, it's similar to Switzerland, I guess, because I mean, I know both cultures because my father comes from Argentina, and it's like a clash of cultures.
I can imagine. And it can be difficult as well for both sides, actually, because you are lacking something, or maybe you have too much of something else.
Yes, exactly. So maybe, I guess, when we are learning a language, we should focus more also on those things, right? On the culture, on how to behave in general, and not only the spoken words. So that matters a lot.
I think so. And I also learned it because I'm working for a very international company where basically everyone is from all over Europe. And maybe the most influential leaders I've had, maybe they were not making fully correct or very good sentences, or they were not using the proper grammar, or maybe they were, lacking something, but that was not really the point. They were very strong communicators. They were real leaders, keeping people together, understanding what to do. They were funny, even though they were, speaking a different language. And I think that was maybe also another point that can be very frustrating. You become a different person when you are talking a different language. I think that at start, I was struggling and people thought I was very serious, but I just didn't know how to express my jokes. I was thinking of how to say something, but it always came in Spanish. And I said, how would I say it? Oh my God. And then after, when I realized how to say it, the moment it was gone. So I said, well, maybe next time.
And how often do you speak in Spanish these days?
Every day, because my boyfriend, he's also Argentinian. So I think that my day is 50-50. And I think that's also a challenge. Sometimes my brain is set up more in English, even if I want to express something, it comes in English. Or other days it's in Spanish. And it can happen at work or at home. So even I think it's normal, and we end up, talking in a very Spanglish way.
So cool! I love that.
It's a mess.
I love that, absolutely. And do you still listen to Luke's English podcast?
Yes, I'm a runner. I normally go for a run for 5, 7, or 10K, and always by listening to Luke. That's why I go running. Otherwise, it would be too boring as well. But he always has very good topics to, he always have people,
Yes.
waiting for the next one, right?
Exactly. And the latest episode was actually with Paul Taylor and Amber. So they were at his home and recording. That was so amazing. It's brilliant.
I think it's just so nice what's happening across these three. There's such chemistry, and you feel that you are part of that round with jokes and how much fun they are having with simple things, right? Because it's not that they are having something very complex or but it's you can see how they are having a very good time together, and you feel as if you were there in their
Yes.
house, and if you knew Paul's daughter or Amber's life. I don't know. It's magic what happens with the podcasts.
Yeah, it's magic, and you feel like you know them, right? And it's so strange because sometimes also when I am conducting an interview with someone, maybe I have listened to many episodes of the person that I am interviewing, and I feel like I know the person. And because it's strange, because in my case, as I said, I am shy and introvert, but sometimes I feel like I'm talking with people, and I feel like I know them, and I am very open, and this is so amazing. And it's all also because of one common hobby, which is English, the English language, and it's so beautiful. And
Yeah, and that's actually, making or gathering people or getting people together. It's amazing how much you can create with that. Because I don't know how many listeners Luke has, but it's just the passion for learning a language. That's it. And
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, he's a very good host, very creative, very open, very human, has very good values. So of course, all that is making the show or the podcast so good. But in the end, actually, people are just obsessed with improving their level of English.
Yes.
That's
So,
it.
yeah. But sometimes, yeah, we should just be proud of ourselves, right? And not beating ourselves up, because sometimes I am also beating myself up, and sometimes I see it with other learners that they struggle because of that. But we should meditate more. Are you still
I'm not
meditating?
teaching, but I still do yoga, and meditation is something that you can do at any time for as long as you want. Maybe it can be a short one. Maybe you want to just meditate for a couple of minutes, but it's always something I come back to. Yeah, always having in mind. Maybe in some cases or certain occasions are you can get off track a little bit and say maybe I should
Yeah.
again go back to my routine and still stick to meditation. But as everything in life, it's about ups and downs and having always clear where your center is, where is your balance.
I
But
agree.
it's
And do you have any plans for the future?
that's a very recurrent topic with my boyfriend, because we always wonder. We stayed in Denmark for now 3 years. In April, it's been 3 years that we've been living here, and both of us actually had very good job opportunities. Luckily, we are very lucky for that. Every time we also considered maybe we can go somewhere else. Always I had the dream of having the chance to live in France, but also settling and living in a new country requires a lot of energy. And
Yeah.
it's not just something you can do, okay, now I'm going for the next country and that's it. And then I will make some friends, as if you were to, kind of
Well,
produce friends, right?
Well, you can. You did it in the past.
Yeah, that's true. But, I remember we arrived, and after 2 months, maybe also because it was after going to Australia and we arrived in here, different culture, different weather. And I received questions from my friends from Argentina asking, so did you make any friends already? And I remember that I was not really feeling a connection with anyone. And I felt very frustrated because of that. And then I talked to someone else and said, but don't pressure yourself so much, because also you shouldn't consider the fact or making new friends something that simple, as if you were to really create them. That happens. The connections with people might happen or not,
Yeah.
and that will come. But don't put any pressure on that. And now yeah, we are considering possibilities to going somewhere else, but we also value a lot what we have here in Denmark. which is a great country. It's just too good to be true, I would say. But of course, culturally speaking, that's the maybe not so strong side.
Yeah.
Or maybe where we are lacking or missing a bit the, Latin part, the warmer,
I can imagine. And Luciana, maybe you want to add something to your story, or maybe I remember that on your voice recording, you said something like you were going through troubles or something while you were traveling. Maybe you have an anecdote to tell or something like that.
Well, I have one, and it was in India. I think that was one of the most shocking countries I've been in my entire life. And not only because of their language or, culture or religion or, beliefs, but definitely, just simply everything is different. And people are used to living in a different set of values and traditions. And anyway, I remember we were visiting a city, and people used to ask me a lot when traveling with my boyfriend if we were married. We were wondering why it was so important for them to know if we were married or not. And at the start, we were saying just no, we are dating, we are just in a relationship. And we were in a city where we met a guy that helped us to find where a building was. We were, just sightseeing there. And we have an expression in Spanish, which is when someone does something very good to you, or, it's do you a favor, and you're very excited about it, you would say, "Oh, I love you, thank you." Saying "I love you" in that context, it's something you can say in Spanish. So since he helped us, and I said, "Oh, my love, I love you, thanks a lot," he wanted to propose to me because I said that I loved him.
Okay.
And then he was asking me my phone number, and I was trying to say, "No, I actually, I didn't mean it. I actually have a boyfriend." "Yeah, but you're not married, and I can marry you if you want." And he was he couldn't get the fact that it was just expression, even though we tried to explain it. And he was insisting so much and after that we decided to say to everyone that we were married, just to avoid this issue, because it took us like 15 minutes just to try to explain to this guy that I wasn't interested in him. I wasn't in love with him. I didn't love him, in fact, but he never understood. So it was just funny. And after that, I was just, I'm married, and we started our own love story. We told people we got married. And people were asking, "When did you get married? How was the wedding?" We were making up a full story just not to get into trouble.
Amazing. Once again, we see how complicated it can be because of the differences of the culture. It is not sufficient to know a common language. You need to know the culture and the person, and it's amazing. But it's always interesting, right? Because it's never boring.
It's never boring. It's never boring. I think it only requires you to be open, because also sometimes that can be difficult. You are just so used to your own set of values and okay, that's the way I see the world. And it can take also some energy to just get out from that view and maybe this is not the only one, and there are many others, and accepting that can be a challenge as well.
Yeah, of course. Wonderful. I have a question. I want to go back, and my question is, what was more fun to you, giving yoga lessons or the current job when you are managing people? When were you more happy in terms of making your job, right? Well, it's a difficult question, I know, but I am really curious.
It's a difficult one, because I was planning to share this episode with my team And now I have to say very nice things about them.
Of course.
No, but you know what? I think I was happy in both situations, because I really like teaching. I really like helping people. I found that my passion is more to really empower people and help them in their development or help them to get something. And in my current position, I got the chance to be promoted twice, meaning that I also changed the teams I've worked with, and now I'm leading a larger team. So that means even more diversity and more complexity. And but I got to know I really like having different people, different challenges, and just help them to keep growing. So for me, what really motivates me, it's not really, of course I also like my job, but really motivates me to connect with people, have fun, keep learning, stretch myself, because I do need the stretch, both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
But yeah, I would like to teach yoga once again, for sure. That's something I'm not disregarding for the future.
I really love your story. Thank you so much, Luciana, because you have different sides, right? So in one way you say you are shy, but on the other hand, you just go with the flow. You go in a foreign country without a plan, and you are giving yoga lessons, and then you are managing people. And this is so amazing to me. It's really beautiful to listen to you. Thank you so much. Do you want to add something to your story?
No, actually, I want just to thank you. It was super nice to be in your show, and I think you have been a very nice host. And thank you for the opportunity, and it's also nice to share this story with you. Thank you for really showing this interest in listening to it.
I have to thank you. So I wish you good luck.
Thanks a lot. And I'm very curious about knowing your story, because of course I want to know all the things that you've learned by hosting this podcast, and your parents. I'm really curious. So probably I'm also having a project of having a podcast.
Oh really?
So of course
cool.
You will be part of my guests for sure.
But now I am curious. What is it all about?
Actually, I want to have it in both English and Spanish, and it's gonna be more about people that can talk from a certain angle and answering very standard questions. But the idea is also to have a very enriched point of views because of the diversity of the diverse range of guests. So will be very standard, but yeah, I'll show a bit more when the time comes.
Yes.
I'm working on the structure.
Of course.